Sidebar: if you do want something to help you sleep, most natural way, stay away from melatonin. We can get into that conversation. The best thing that I have seen to work for me is magnesium threonate. It's
Magnesium. Okay.
Threonate. It's the only form of magnesium that can cross the blood-brain barrier. Literally, the first time I ever took it, it was like you kind of get like a head rush, and then it takes some getting used to. It's almost like you got a little headache, or you've had the pump when you do bicep curls. It's almost like your brain is kind of like, but that's the blood rushing to it.
Really?
And then, but I mean, I track my sleep every night with this little thing and this little thing, and I've seen a difference.
So
So
what's it called again? Magnesium
mag
threonate?
Threonate, Threonate.
Okay, cool. I got that written down. I might leave this up
Oh,
actually. Back.
little hacks.
Yeah, little hack. So actually, let's just get into that. What you said about the melatonin thing. So because as I just said, I've had some issues sleeping in the past. So obviously,
Mhm.
the first thing people say is I get melatonin. So I get melatonin, and I started using it like on like a nightly basis. Like I wouldn't
Mhm.
like I was one of those people that was like, let me grab a handful and eat eight. And I wasn't doing that. Just like if I couldn't sleep and it got to like 2, 3 a.m., I had to wake up at like 6, 7. I take one just to put my mind at ease, honestly.
Mhm.
Um, but what is like the issues with it? Because I haven't really taken it in a while, and because I've started to hear some issues, and I just want to know like what.
Yeah. So melatonin is it's naturally occurring within your body, right? It works on a 12-hour cycle. So number one, if it's naturally occurring, we don't want to mess with it on that cycle. So you've heard of the circadian rhythms, right? Like, oh, jet lag, my circadian rhythms all jacked up. Well, a lot of times that's because in the world that we live in, we're so distracted. We're not going to bed at the same time. We're not waking up at the same time. Well, now how is our circadian rhythm ever supposed to get on track, right? So if you have everything in sync, your melatonin starts to formulate the same cycle. Well, if you and backtrack a little more, fundamentally, melatonin research shows it has one of the most inaccurately labeled supplements on the market, anywhere from 14% to 300% inaccurate. And that's because the FDA, there's so many different little things that they can, you just have to meet certain simple qualifications, the FDA, and then you can really do whatever you want. So
Mm,
I think, I mean, when I've taken it before, and I'll give you the only time that I would recommend it. And actually, Andrew Huberman talks about this all the time. And also, melatonin is one of your growth hormones. So that's one of the things contributing to recovery, to feeling good, to, right, like so many natural processes happen when you sleep. But the melatonin is, you've had that groggy feeling when you wake up, right?
yeah.
With melatonin, that's because your melatonin, your cycle. If you took the melatonin, you're probably taking it right at the end of your cycle, and then you were spiking another cycle, and now you're like waking up still wanting to go to sleep because you still should be asleep because
Mm,
your body is like, oh, what the heck's going on? So to piggyback, the only time that it's really recommended, and the research I've read and seen, is if you're flying across the country and you have or like for you, if you're going from Boston to Hawaii, or if you're going international, right? It's a huge time difference. Okay, let's get our body adjusted. Like if you're flying and it's the nighttime, you're going back in time. Let's take some melatonin and get our body sped up, right?
I
So
see. Yeah.
little little nerdy things. But then again, on the magnesium threonate, it's one of the only things that I've really seen. Like, hey, I can wake up and I'm ready to go,
Really?
and instead of that grogginess, it's like it's different. I've recommended it to multiple people, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I love this stuff."
Yeah. Is
So
there any other like like a vitamin or maybe like it's just something else like magnesium threonate that you have taken that you're like, wow, this actually like is pretty impressive.
yeah, so I think, I mean, just from a fundamental level, I think on the essential supplements that I would recommend, like number one, I think everybody should have a multivitamin or a micronutrient type supplement. So for me, that's a greens powder, and I think I don't know if we were talking about it, but I'm working on my own greens powder right now. So hopefully that gets out by September. But so that's one thing. Fish oils, we don't get enough good omega-3s in our diet. And then honestly, creatine, there's a lot of research. Everyone thinks, oh, take creatine, you're going to get huge. Like that's not how it works. If you lift to get huge, you'll get huge using creatine, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of research on it that shows improved cognition, lots of longevity on the brain. So and that's anywhere from 2 to 5 grams a day for the average person. But I mean, as far as like I take those every day, so that's kind of hard to pinpoint.
Mm.
The magnesium sometimes, like if I feel like hey, I'm doing good, then I won't take it. But I actually didn't take it two nights ago, two nights in a row when I was in Vegas. My recovery was like 57% both nights, and then this morning it was like 77. So interesting.
So that's what the Whoop does. It tells you all that.
Yeah, so it gives you all kinds of this and the Aura ring. They they go into your HRV, your deep sleep, your REM sleep, light sleep. I mean, it's crazy. It's kind of scary how much data they have on you.